Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mrs. Nunez, and this is my first attempt to try to do an online tutorial with the introduction to Adobe Illustrator. My idea here is that I will demonstrate some of the tools that Illustrator does and then give you an assignment at the end for you to turn in by the end of the hour. First off, I'm working on a Mac and not a PC, so that's going to be kind of confusing to some of you, but please bear with me. When you go to open up Illustrator, it will be over here on the side under the Start menu. The icon will look something like mine does right down here, AI. Mine is already opened, so I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to New. I want you to name your document Mrs. Nunez Practice. Please use your name and then the word practice. Number of artboards is going to be 1. The size should be letter. If your units are in points, please change that to inches. So it will be 8.5 by 11 inches. And then hit OK. Your board should look something like mine does. This part right here, this is the board that would actually print. The side views over here on both sides where it's gray is called the scratch board. And the scratch board is used for when you're doing a logo and you have a couple different variations and you want to not have to open up different files. You can leave them on the sides over here. These are your tools, and this is your toolbar. Your toolbar may look like that, where it's real thin, all in one line, or it may be double. I like mine double because I like to see them. They're a little bit bigger because I'm blind. Over here, I need you to go to Workspace and hit Layout. And when you hit Layout, this should all start to pop up. There are swatches, there are strokes, there's color, transparency, gradients, and then down here is the characters, which is type. Up here is another toolbar that has some of the main things that you're going to be working in. This is your fill. This is your stroke. This is your point size. This is the kind of point that it is. Your opacity, which is the coloring, whether it's lighter or darker. These tools here, we're just going to go over a few of them, and I'm going to give you some time to kind of play and try to get some ideas on how this all works. You will have 2 assignments. The first one will be to just practice doing some different things in here, such as 3D, such as doing some things with type, as doing things with shapes, doing things with your paintbrush, etc. Your second assignment is going to be doing an ellipse, and I'm going to put the files on Blackboard for you to download. So let's start with the tools. First tool is called a selection tool. I'm going to have to demonstrate these 2 tools for you in a few minutes, but there's a selection tool, which is the black arrow, and a direct select, which is the white arrow. We're going to skip down to the pen tool. The pen tool, if you hold your mouse down, the pen tool has other things underneath it, such as an add anchor point, delete anchor point, and convert. These will come in handy when we do our project called Little Dude. We have the type tool, and underneath the type tool, we have all sorts of different things that you can do with type. Vertical, type on a path, vertical area, vertical type on a path tool. Here we have our different shapes right here that you can use. We have a paintbrush. We have a pencil. Rotate. Underneath rotate is reflect. We have a scale tool. Underneath scale, shear, reshape. I'm going to skip these right here for right now. This is our gradient tool, and this is our zoom tool. This here is called fill and stroke, and this is where a majority of people will have their problem when they're trying to make an object, because they'll realize they have it filled with white and you don't want it to be filled with anything. You just want to have a stroke, not literally. So With the fill, if you come over here to none, you can turn off the fill that no color will be there. It'll be transparent. You can do the same thing with stroke, but then when you draw or type anything, there will be nothing there. So I'm going to put the fill to black, and I'm going to put the stroke to yellow, and I'm going to demonstrate a couple things. First thing I'm going to demonstrate is how to just draw a good old rectangle. Holding the shift key down or holding my mouse down, I just draw a rectangle. Right now it has a black or yellow stroke on it, but you can probably hardly see it because it's black. Yep, it's really barely there. So in order to see that a little bit better, I come up here to my stroke and I'm going to make it 8 point. And voila, now you can actually see it. The zoom in, zoom out feature. I'm all about shortcuts. For the zoom in and zoom out, the shortcut is Control plus, Control minus. On my Mac, it is Command. I think on the PC, it is Control. Okay, so we're going to draw another shape. I'm going to draw an ellipse. And I'm going to change the fill to red. And I'm going to change the stroke to purple. And I'm going to make the size a little bit smaller. And as I Control minus or Command minus, here you can see where my file is. Okay, now as we're going through this, I'm going to Control C, which is copy, Control V, which is paste, and I'm pasting some files just around to try to show you how some things work. And here's the fourth one. There we go. So they're kind of goofy, I know. If you want to change the colors, all you do is come over here to your fill and your stroke, and you can start to change the colors. If you want a gradient in it, hit your gradient tool, pull up. Whoops, excuse me. We're going to fill it with this gradient. Here we may change the colors. I'm going to put some pink in there just by dragging it down there. I'm going to change the black to orange by dragging it down there. This tool here lets us change the way the gradient goes. We can do it diagonally, up and down. So now you have a little bit of a gradient inside there. I'm going to show you real quickly using the paintbrush tool. Actually, I'm going to delete some of this first. Delete, delete. All I did was select it with my direct select tool, or my selection tool, and I deleted. Okay, I'm going to grab my paintbrush, and I'm just going to draw this goofy little shape like this. I'm going to go to Effect. I'm going to go to 3D, and I'm going to revolve. This is where your geometry comes into place. We have an X, Y, and Z axis. Z is the 3D. And as you see here, oops, cancel. I have to select it first. So I go back, grab my, you're always going to go back and grab your black arrow. 3D, revolve. I'm going to hit preview, and voila, it did a rotation. You can change the way the rotation goes on which axis simply by moving the box around. Understand that my Mac runs a little bit faster than your guys' PCs do, so please do not get frustrated when it says it's rendering or taking a little bit more time. So this is, I'm just kind of moving it around using my black arrow, and that is how you do a 3D revolve. I'm now going to type, getting just my type tool. I'm going to type my name, Mrs. Nunez. Control A is select all. Control Shift and your arrow keys in between the M and the question mark actually will enlarge your type and shrink your type. The other way that you can do that is to come up here to the top of your toolbar, and you can change your point size around right here. You can also change the font to try a different font. Let's see, how about Cooper Black? That's a big, thick font. As you see, my name is dark. All I'm doing is my selection tool. I'm just selecting it. I'm now going to put a stroke on it of yellow. No, not yellow. Actually, yes. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to swap the colors. So there we are. Now we are yellow and black, but the other way. There you go, Sterling people. Okay, the last thing that I'm going to show you is how to type on a path. Using my brush tool, I am going to draw a line. I'm then going to go ahead and get the Type on a Path tool. I put my cursor right on that path, and then I can start. Mrs. Nunez loves this class. Now, it's too big, so Control A selects all. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to bring my point size down until I got a size that I like. Get my selection tool, and there it is. No line. I can enlarge for you guys to see a little bit better. And there it is. So with this, I have shown you how to use your selection tool. The last thing I want to show you is how to use this direct select. The direct select takes this when you click on the edge of it and selects little points that you can maneuver individually. So I'm going to grab it, get my direct select. I'm going to enlarge these points so that you can kind of see what I'm doing. And sometimes it doesn't like to work. Come on. These little anchor points need to turn white in order to maneuver the pieces. There we go. Can you see where it turned white in there? It's now transparent. I can click on that, holding my mouse down. I can now start to maneuver this path. Well, if I can get a hold of it. And change the shape of what this is. There we go. I'm using my command plus and minus, and I have changed the shape. This, again, is going to come in handy when you do your little dude. For this first assignment, it's not going to come in as handy, but it will be later on. So your first assignment today, the first of two assignments, because this part is due today. The other part, the ellipse, will not be due until Wednesday. But your first assignment today is to get in here, kind of mess around with some of these tools, draw some shapes, draw some colors, do some cool stuff with it. Make sure your name is on there and your block number is on there. Then you're going to turn the file into me on Blackboard for 20 points of in-class work today. After you feel that you've mastered some of this, you may move on to the ellipse project. In the ellipse project, you must first show me that you draw the ellipse properly, and then your second part of the project is you create whatever you like, and you are going to create some really cool artwork. So the last thing is how to save. I need you to go to File, Save, and mine looks different than your guys' does. But under where it says Adobe Illustrator, I need you to make sure you drop it down to PDF. The reason being, I want you to save everything as a PDF that you turn into me so that I can view it here at home or at work or anywhere else that I happen to be. Make sure you're saving it in your H drive. Make sure it has your name and then the word practice. Everything should have your name and then what the file is called. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. I am now going to sign off, and I will be around for any questions that you may have. Thanks again. Have a great day.